motion to let this go back to the engineer on the two-course option, not the expensive one, which is the sheet y'all have in front of you, with a clause built in that we can drop Pittman depending upon the gas line, just to keep things moving.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Marshal's office. Soto.
Mr. Mayor, make sure I said that in my council. Marshal's office report for the month of May 2026. Your deputy marshal responded to a total of 135 calls for service, conducted 196 security checks, and completed two arrests. Deputies conducted a total of 291 traffic stops, issuing 76 citations and 249 warnings. Every detailed traffic report.
I'm gonna ask you, what I always ask you, any violations for through traffic big trucks?
Yes, sir, to an included arrest. Gentleman was.
You said two?
To include.
Okay, two,
an arrest.
okay. So one step.
They had stopped other trucks, but they were.
Commerce and
Yes,
St.
sir.
Edmund.
Yes, sir.
And y'all get the address, just,
They
I'm
check
not
all the
saying I don't
lanes.
trust anybody, but a lot of those drivers, because they're trying to get to Guadalupe County or Wilson County and say commerce destinations in St. Hedwig, but we don't ask an address, we can't verify that.
Yes, sir, common practices, normal practices for them to ask for a little lady or show proof of delivery if they're already heading out. One commercial driver was arrested for operating a commercial vehicle without a commercial license. He was also picked up on approximately 20 citations that were issued out of the city of San Antonio for the same related offenses.
So the truck in pond?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then a continued lengthy call for service.
All right, thank you.
And it looks like most of these are in St. Hedwig. Like the majority. I mean, yes, it's a huge drop for outside assist. Anything change?
It comes in waves.
Yeah.
Some months will be busier than others.
And, any other questions for the marshal?
Appreciate you.
Thank you. All right, city manager's report.
As is the case every month, the generator has evolved since I did my report last week. The CPS and CRI Electric met at City Hall on the 14th of May, and CPS and CRI did what they needed to do. They checked the box. That portion was completed. I was told, okay, the next step is we need to get Generac out here to commission it. I didn't know that we were going to have more involvement. So they told me, hang tight, we'll get you a date. I didn't get a date. I was emailing, when is this going to happen? And then on Monday, CRI Electric said, they called every number, they were leaving messages, they were emailing frantically and said, they want to be there tomorrow at 9 a.m. Does that work? I said, absolutely. I will make it work. We got to get this done. So the generator was commissioned this Tuesday. It is operational. Today, CRI Electric sent me the last 2 pay apps. I'm going to review them. And so as far as that project, the work is completed. Now it's just cleaning up and finishing what's required with the Texas Department of Emergency Management. North Graytown Road, I included some pictures in y'all's packet. Dale and Dennis told me, oh gosh, have you seen the condition? It looks like the road is dropping or the culvert is coming unattached, or I mean the head wall. And so Mr. Beck and I went out there a little while ago, and the pictures make it look worse than it is. Councilman Beck said he has definitely seen worse with TxDOT, and what was the measurement there was a crack on one of the pipes that has caused the concrete to raise
4 inches, 3 inches, but it's, you don't have any void behind the concrete in the road itself. It's a crack
Yeah.
between the mix and the concrete. But when you start shoving something down in there to see how far it's washed,
Yeah.
you're only talking a few inches. You're not talking big voids underneath the road where it's washed out. Need to watch it. I mean, if we get some good floods, we need to make sure that it's not separating that head wall from the road itself. But really, on that one, if we have a minute, I think we need to get with Jess. I know he did some preliminary dollar amounts on structures.
Yeah.
Need to go back and look at what those 3 5-foot diameter pipes storm frequency are holding right now. And if it's a 10-year storm or a 15-year storm, we need to see what it would take to get to a 25 or 30-year storm. You can't go to a 50 or 100-year storm. No city can afford those kind of green roads. But a 25-year frequency is a pretty substantial storm. I'm not going off of permanent calculations, but if you change from three 5-foot diameter pipes to 4 6x6 box structures, you almost double your flow capacity, give or take a few. And you raise the road a little bit more, but you widen out how much you have. Another thing that needs to be done out there is upgrading. Really need to get some type of channel easement over there to be able to clean out some of those trees that are blocking the drainage coming down to the pipe, because also those trees, limbs are breaking, then they're going down and blocking the pipes.
Yeah.
Which then the water can't go through and goes over the top. I don't know who the landowners are over there, but I mean,
That land's for sale.
okay,
It's a former president of the school board,
so
who's a good friend of the city.
channel, a 75-foot channel easement up in there, just so you could shape it where water would flow through and out the south, going to the north. You don't need a lot of cleaning on that side, but a little bit, and it would help. But we really need to see what kind of pipes or what kind of frequencies that road's at right now. Because it might be feasible to do something.
So-
I'm not saying, because concrete prices and box structures and stuff, I mean, prices are fluctuating just like everything else.
So would anybody be opposed if we got some quote, that they spoke to Jess, got some quotes, one for maybe like 25 years, don't really know those boxes or bigger pipes, and also maybe contracts for cleaning up the pipes and maybe easement. If they don't have any objections,
That's definitely something I can look into. My last item was regarding last meeting when former Mayor Grimm brought up the data centers. I spoke with Bryce, and as an update on the requested zoning code amendment for data centers, we're currently working with our planning consultant and city attorney. You were looped in on one email, but we're giving you credit, to prepare the amendment and required public hearing notice. We anticipate bringing this to the August city council meeting. We could have done the notice in time for July, but we were not sure if y'all were gonna have the meeting on the 2nd or the 9th, and so we didn't want to put the wrong notice in the newspaper if y'all were moving the meeting. So we're looking at doing this in August. Data centers currently, the zoning ordinance does not contemplate data centers. That was not something that was put into the ordinance in any way, shape, or form. So this use would be considered new and unlisted and follow the classification of new and unlisted uses. It requires the land use in question to first be presented to city council for interpretation of the zoning classification and zoning ordinance. And if y'all agree that it's new and unlisted, the city council would direct staff along with which districts it may or may not be allowed, and any specific conditions related to the use. That was pretty much discussed last meeting. So Bryce and Cynthia are currently preparing an amendment that says it would not be allowed in the city at all, or with different conditions, depending on which route y'all choose. We're gonna probably present you with both. But currently, right now, because it was not considered in the ordinance, nobody can come in and do it right now. So it's not gonna pop up.
We got to that point, that would require a public, maybe 1 or 2 public hearings.
I think it's a big enough threat right now.
You're gonna have some folks in.
Yeah, so it's already happening very close to us.
So that will be at the August meeting. Do y'all have any questions regarding those items? Okay. Mayor Grimm and the court administrator are not here, so I will present the court report. In May, there were 120 individuals on the docket on the 20th. At 1 p.m. there were 80, and at 2 p.m. there were 38. Only 13 people appeared. 12 of them appeared for the 1 p.m. and 1 person appeared at the 2 p.m. They put 28 cases into warrant status. 77 were sent to collections. 79 were closed, and 12 of those were in collection status. There were 2 juvenile cases, and the next court date is going to be June 17th at 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock.
And on behalf of Judge Grimm, I just want to put this on the record again. If you get a court date, just go to the court date. Get a warrant, but just
Who issues those warrants, constable or your office?
court.
Mhm.
Code compliance. Now there's a pretty packet this.
Very thin, yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, Council, how y'all doing?
Very good.
Good. Code compliance report for the month of May. We had 3 building permits that were submitted. Out of the 3, 2 of them have been approved, 1 is still currently pending. Just so you know, I don't know if y'all are aware, but the process states through the conversations that the council has had, about the building over there, the water supply through East Central, they're required to have fire sprinklers in each of those homes that are being built. So that's one of them that's pending. The first home they got built over there being built now. There was 2 variance applications that were submitted that are going to be going before the BOA next week. Both of them are scheduled for, I believe it's Wednesday. Is it Wednesday?
3, I thought.
Yep, there's
Oh,
3
I'm sorry,
total.
sorry. Yes, there is 3. Yes, I'm sorry. I think the other one I had on last month's schedule.
Driveway setback and extended living quarters.
Sir?
Driveway,
One's a
setback,
driveway,
and then extended living.
one's a setback, and one's extended, yes, sir, extended living quarters. Yes, sir, besides those. 1 sign permit was submitted and approved. 1 utility permit was submitted and approved. We had 1 final electric that was submitted for a home on Abbott Road, which was approved. And I had 1 notice of ordinance violation for a zoning ordinance violation for property on 1518 for those trucks that are there. Contractor, they're using like a contractor yard right now. I'm working on getting those removed.
All right.
Any questions?
Over on Pittman, where they're doing all the crossings, if you're heading back south from the big Bull Rock crossings, they put in another driveway just north of where those horses are. Was that a permanent driveway? Because that's base material they put in that driveway.
No, it's a temporary. I mean, that's going to be one of their routes to get to the back.
To the gas.
Yes, sir.
But that's the entrance that owner had put in years ago, that he put the pipes in, but he hadn't done the entrance. So that material's not gonna go away. That's why they put base instead of bull rock. So that
Yeah.
needs to be permitted as a driveway and the pipe.
I had a conversation with, Mr. Mahaffey, the gentleman that does the consultant that does the right-of-way permits. He brought that up about needing that because they're having to take those pipes through there, and what they're wanting to do is, once the project is completed, they're gonna put in a permanent form, culverts and everything. They're gonna redo it, and put a permanent driveway approach there, if there was one there.
That's-
You mentioned that.
That's a property that was considered to be a subdivision, maybe, a flag lot,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay,
touches up against the folks that live on John Lane.
yes, yes.
That's a
Yes, it goes
possible
all the way
subdivision
back.
there, so
Yes.
to your point, it's even more important that they get a,
Cause they put a pipe in, they put 12 inch, maybe 14 inch, I mean, it's galvanized pipe, but they put base in, and so
Yeah.
that's not a temporary.
Yeah, every one of them they're doing are gonna be temporary. I've already had a conversation with Mr. Mahaffey. He said, once the project is completed, they're removing everything back out of there. They're not gonna keep them. It's all temporary.
so that answers one of the questions we had.
Yes,
The
that's right.
citizens to be heard, but the question that also came up, to maintain that easement,
Mhm.
let's say they have a problem, I don't even want to say leak, but, so I won't, but how do they get to all that property between the Ball Diamond and Pittman Road? Because that is a 50-foot easement, it's a 100-foot construction easement. After construction, it's a 50-foot easement. If they pull all that bull rock and those temporary driveways, how are they gonna get to point L or M?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll just keep monitoring as we go, but every one of them they put in, with the exception you're talking about, are temporary. They're new. They weren't there before. And so every one of those are gonna be removed. Once they're done with the project, they're gonna be removed.
Except that one.
Except that one. Now, that one, they're gonna remove it, but they're going to, in lieu of, they're gonna put a driveway approach that's gonna be permitted per, the specs that the city requires through, Bear County specs.
Okay.
Yes.
Just all I would tell you is have it in writing from Howard Energy that bull rock's gonna be removed, because.
I can get that. Yes, I can get that from
That
Mr. Mahaffey.
documentation's important.
Yes.
Cause they're gonna leave gates at all those crossings, just like Highline crossings and stuff.
And again, that's probably gonna be a conversation I'll have with them as they're going, that, because they were willing to work with that property owner on that one you're talking about. And he even said, yeah, we'll work with that property owner. If they need to, when we're done, if we need to put a permanent, we'll work with them. I mean, that's the least they can do, and so they might decide to do that with all of them. I don't know, it's a thought, but, again, that's something they're gonna have to work out with the property owner. Any other questions?
The other citizen that asked about the trailer home on Pittman,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
assuming that is the one on the 4700 block of Pittman?
Yes, sir, all the way down the end to the left, yes, sir.
Can you just give a quick, I know you've given us
Sure.
update,
Yes,
but to answer
I've
his
been on-
question.
Yes, sir, I've been on that project for, God, I think ever since I've been here. Finally was able to make contact with the property owner. As of late, I wasn't getting any, I did get some cooperation from him, telling me he's aware of it, but didn't give me a timeline when he's gonna start working on it, other than kicking the walls down and making a mess, making it worse than what it looked
They
initially.
started.
Yes, and so, since then, he did get a summons to appear, he came and saw the judge, so I'm not sure I wasn't here when that happened, so I'm not sure what direction the judge gave him, but yes, it's gone to that level already. He did express that it was a financial issue, that he could, he didn't have the money right now to get that thing cleaned up. So, that's something that me and Ms. Pack are in discussion about, and I know I've had, a discussion with, the former mayor about, hey, some of these folks that have some of these structures, maybe they're still there because they just can't afford to get rid of them. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's something, we gotta come up with. I don't know.
Is there any way that the fire department could have a controlled burn and taking care of mobile home fire situation?
I'll let you work that one out.
Training exercise?
Just did that first.
But just in case everybody's wondering where the 4700 block is, that is the midway point between Laverne Road and 87
Yeah.
on the east side.
Yeah.
So I know everybody probably knows where it's at.
Yes.
I'm not gonna,
And to Mr. Hammond's point, yes, I've been working on that project. It might not seem like I have, but behind the scenes, we have. And he is right, there is some legal issues that gentleman's going through. Just got out of jail from what I made this past year, so that's probably part of the reason why I couldn't get a hold of him, so. But anyway, he is, at least now, has made contact with the city, he has seen the judge, so we're going to the next stage on seeing what can we do to help him, you know? I mean, he wants to get it cleaned up, you know?
When he appeared in court, he stated that he'd received a quote for $10,000 to clean that property up. So I contacted somebody that day and had them go out and look, and it was close to $8,000. So it's in the neighborhood of what, yeah, close to $8,000 to get it cleaned up. So it's going to be expensive, and we're trying to figure out, because we don't want the residents around there to continue being negatively affected by this, but it is going to be an expensive fix.
So one of the KML seminars I went to, and I'm not sure if the ordinance that we didn't put through, or it's probably the other ordinance that we put through, but can the city not go in after a certain amount of time to remove that?
So the answer is, and I think that's what Robert was alluding to, is that y'all did adopt an ordinance that gives y'all a mechanism to do it. The issue is that because there are federal liens on that property and other liens on that property, even if that property sells, the city would never recover its money, right? So it becomes a policy decision of the city, is does the city want the taxpayers to have to pay for that lien?
Yeah, and that, to me, I appreciate your idea, Mayor, but that's a slippery slope to me. It just, I hate to set precedents to the next one that comes down the line, city's got to drop 10 grand or 8K, you know, and because then the neighbors of that next one down the line are going to say, hey, you did it on Pittman, you know, but I'm with you. Somehow we got to expedite it.
Yeah, because what I'm thinking is public hazard. I mean, that
Oh,
thing's
yes.
falling apart.
Public nuisance, I mean.
It is better than what it was.
Everything, I mean, it's, yeah, it's bad.
It's better than what it was.
Yeah.
A little bit helps. But,
Yeah, I was just thought, so.
yeah.
And I think that in the analysis, right, if a property doesn't have separate issues as far as other liens or whatever, it might not necessarily a bad lien. At some point in time, the city will be able to collect its money, but when there are priority liens in front of the city, it makes it different.
Good.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Robert. Okay, now we'll go into items for individual consideration, discussion, and possible action. Before you have the agreement for the animal shelter services provided by Wilson County Adoption Rescue Service. Some things have changed. So, like we discussed last meeting, so there's the yearly cost that we give. Some of the things I try to remember from the last meeting were they can turn us away if they're full, even though we paid enough
Once
chemicals
the
there.
agreement, so.
Yep. They can, they're gonna charge us per animal that we bring down there.
Over and above the.
Over and above,
Okay.
yep. Those are the two big ones.
I'm looking right now.
Yeah.
The state's not,
So just.
Oh, it will not transport the
Just for the citizens' sake that are out there, we paid 10,000 contract fee last year, right? We paid how much this year before it got sideswiped?
It was 10,000.
they increased to
That's
15.
what I thought.
Yeah.
And then they backed the buy-in for this one that they're proposing back down to 10,000, but added in the per animal fee.
And a clause to say no to them.
Yeah, so if they're at capacity, they can turn us away.
Yeah, we're gonna be allotted, 3 or 1, because they've got 1 in the parentheses, and I forgot to get with them to see, I assume that they mean 3 kennels. Okay, gotcha. No, you're probably correct, but then if they don't have any more space,
Yeah,
then.
and it's 10,000 with flat fee, and then it's 500 a dog and 250 a cat. I don't even know what they want to take for a bird.
Everything that I read regarding Bear County Animal Services
Yeah.
was for unincorporated. I sent 2 people emails asking, is there anything that can be done to assist us, based on the amount that our residents do pay in taxes or on a fee basis, and I don't have a response.
Somehow we gotta push it, I'm gonna get on my Bear County bandwagon again, that's ridiculous statement, they used to do it for $55 an animal. About 5 years ago, they said, we're not gonna do anything, the city said, we'll kick it, up to 100, they said they wouldn't do it. And 2 things, we're gonna get more animals. I got one I took to the vet, I'm not even gonna tell you how much money I paid to get her right, and she's still in my house. But all these subdivisions going up around us, this is only gonna get worse, that's number 1. And number 2, if that is gonna continue to be Commissioner Calvert's stance, because it is him, he's got the unilateral power to say yes or no to that, I'm convinced. And if it's gonna be his angle to say no, then that's fine, but lower our taxes. We're paying the same amount of Bear County taxes as somebody in Atkins and Lone Oak is, yet they get animal control and we don't. So somebody from this circle has to put pressure on Calvert.
We've been talking about it for a while, so can you set a meeting with Commissioner Calvert? This is just one of the items that we're talking about.
And to your point, we don't have to talk about the sheriff's deal because I know you already had that conversation tonight. Something's got to be reciprocal here. You know, we help you, you help us.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say no to anything on the police force because that's a safety deal, so I'm never going to say that, but at least work with us. We work with you, at least work with us.
That's
Even if we have to pay
Yeah.
$250 an animal, that's still cheaper than paying 10 grand to Wilson County
Yes.
and then 500 on top of that.
And
If they
turn
don't
us
take
away.
it.
Yeah. So
And
when
if they're not transporting,
the marshal has to take it and they turn them away, what are you doing with the animal? Yeah.
That thing-
You heard his name?
Never seen him move that fast.
The marshal's office we cannot transport
Right.
in these vehicles. It's not a, we should, it's not just a should, we cannot, by law, we cannot. City attorney
Yeah.
can attest to that, but, also kind of giving some credit where credit is due. Wilson County Adoption and Rescue also aided us in the seizure of approximately 20 livestock animals. That was a part, they didn't charge us anything extra, they facilitated everything from beginning to end. Once our deputy started his investigation, concluded, they helped with that. They did more than help. They pretty much handled the rescue. So there is that. But as far as us not being able to transport and them not coming to pick up, well then who? Then is the city gonna be paying that money for services that we're not gonna be taking advantage of with the chance that we can say, sorry, we don't have room. What happens then? We turn it loose in somebody else's backyard? We can't do that.
And I think the question more towards the county is, in our taxes, we're paying for it, so why are we paying for an extra service? It's double taxation. So,
I mean, that's what I'm saying, it's got to be reciprocal. We've got a little bit of leverage here because the marshal's office helps them a lot.
yeah.
I would say a lot more than the animals that we have appear on the streets every now and then.
We had one light month, and that was this month, that was it.
Yeah.
So,
Problem is San Antonio's in the same boat. People that live in San Antonio are in the same boat that we are in St. Hedwig. They pay Bear County taxes, the only thing they get is the Bear County stuff. In town.
yeah.
But San Antonio.
Yeah, but they choose to live in San Antonio. I choose to live in San Antonio.
But the county
And not pay
charges
San Antonio
everybody.
tax. Their tax is about 60 cents too.
And I wonder if San Antonio has an MOU with, the county and vice versa.
But they're big enough, I'm sure they have San
Exactly.
Antonio animal
Yeah,
control.
Exactly.
Bear County has animal control. We've used it for decades.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when a certain person because when Tommy Atkinson was the commissioner, we had no problems with this. I want to remind
Only the
everyone.
vote back then with them.
Yeah. So, to me, it's a per precinct. I would love to research precincts 1, 2, and 3 and see if that rule
Okay.
it might be a good exercise. That would give you more leverage, given the fact that he might even meet with you. You're looking at that.
He'll bring his own garage out. I'll bring mine.
So do we need action on this other than?
No.
It's up to
it
you,
was,
whatever you want.
This was just the
Okay.
proposal that they sent over, and we just wanted to bring it to y'all and let y'all know about the changes, because we received it right before last meeting. And, so we don't need to take action.
We're off the table, we're off the.
So,
We'll
with
keep it
the
on the
agreement
report.
from last year that we paid 15,000, it's gone and it's over.
That
and-
got changed, we didn't pay that. That was last year we paid
Yeah.
that.
Is that, was good to what month?
Oh,
It's still, we're still in
Yeah.
it. It's until, I wanna say September,
But-
October, somewhere
That's a
in
good
there.
financial question. Did we pay the 15?
We did pay the
Did we
15.
get the 5 back?
No, because the
It's for
current
that, yeah.
contract was for 15, so we're still under the
It wasn't
15.
that long ago.
It was right after I started.
we
Yep.
have the original in the packet.
Mhm, yes.
Yeah,
All right, so what you're saying, bottom line, the 15 pages,
that's gone,
it's a good question.
yeah. That was on last year's.
I just, you know.
And there was no
To me, it
per
seemed
annual
like-
fee on that
To
one.
me, that seemed like half a year ago, at the longest. It hasn't been, that's what you're saying?
It was September. I started at the end of September, and I know that they had sent over some changes that, I think y'all had already agreed to the contract, and then they sent over some changes, and the former mayor looked at it and said, oh, this isn't, this is just wording changes, and so y'all didn't take any action. So I wanna say it got passed at the September meeting before I started here, but I can definitely
Yeah,
confirm that.
there was a, I can't.
So one way or the other, we'll have to make some kind of decision around the same time as our fiscal year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And, again, leverage, I would hope when we have animals in this situation, that they consider that we already paid the full meal deal.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
leverage.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And last year's contract too, there was no, the big thing on that one was there won't transport, but there was no turn away cause.
Not that I
There was no, over and above, so, yeah. We just gotta get them there. Any other discussion on the animal services?
Y'all entered into that agreement on September 11th, 2025.
thank you.
Next is ordinance of the city of St. Hedwig, Texas, to renew the appointment of Dr. Chichi Junda Wu, medical doctor, as health authority for the city of St. Hedwig, Texas, for emergency purposes, for a term to begin June 6, 2026, and then June 5th, 2028. So, we have to have a health authority, it's called the Metropolitan Health District. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a local health authority appointed for every city. You have in your packet, it explains what the health authority is. It has to be a doctor. They research diseases, they document diseases, and inspections, birth and death certificates. It's AFAD. Controlling orders of individual tuberculosis, controlling orders of nursing homes, so it's just a local health authority that we need to have. I do not believe we've ever had the need for a doctor to come in the city, so.
We voted on it before.
Yeah, we have voted for it. I think last year, or maybe 2 years ago or 4 years ago, we started.
Is Dr. Wu our current?
Yes.
Yeah.
I so move.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Okay, next is, we have to change the names on the taxable bank accounts. Who the authorized representatives are, so, in your packet, I believe, does everybody have a copy of this?
Mhm.
I move to approve
It shows.
resolution 2026-04.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Sorry, if you want to go ahead.
He had a whole speech planned.
I really knew it was going to say.
I was gonna stand up and, yes.
We're just shutting it short.
That's okay. So we have an executive session.
Not yet, almost.
Okay, this is brought to our attention about the Bend and Lower Silver Creek watershed. I believe Councilman Padalecki.
Yeah, last month I attended, thank goodness for Wilson County News, they put in a big invitation for everybody that lives in this watershed. So they had it in Lavernia last month, well attended. I was the only person from St. Hedwig, but a couple things. St. Hedwig, if you look at that map, is entirely encompassed in that watershed. And why it was important to me to attend it is just because of everything you look at that's going into the Martinez Creek right now, which goes into the Cibolo, which goes into the San Antonio River, which goes into the Gulf of America. And so the big things I learned from there is the Martinez Creek is the biggest tributary to that entire watershed. Now that goes all the way from, I think the top of northern part of it is Selma. And I know for everybody that knows their geography, Cibolo goes way up into the hill country, but this is mid to lower. So the top part is around 35 in Selma, which is where it runs underwater, actually underground. And then it goes all the way to San Antonio River and Panama Maria. That whole map, geographical footprint, Martinez Creek, which is 22 miles, is the largest tributary. And when you think about what we see, because Martinez runs right through our little town, we've got a new junior high that's, and by the way, I don't know when y'all were down there looking at Graytown if that's completed yet, but that's, I want to make sure and say it right, that's treated wastewater. So it's dumping into the Martinez. And then you think about all the subdivisions to the north and to the west. The ones that are there, the ones that have been there, and the ones that are gonna be there. It's a ton of, so they have about 35 testing stations in this map that you're looking at. 2 of those are in St. Hedwig, one on the west side and one on the very east side. The one on the east side is where Martinez and North Gable, where we're talking about all this construction is. And I got concerned because even though most folks driving 15, 18 think that's 2 Martinez Creeks there, that's false. The signage is wrong. That's where the Martinez and the Salatrio come together. And the Salatrio, for those of you who don't know, starts around Judson High School. So there's a ton of treated wastewater that meets right here in St. Hedwig. So I was worried that they didn't have a testing station east of there where the 2 rivers come together. Yeah, could you get a better? And so there was about 5 speakers there, and they did say one of the testing points is on North Gable. So that's, and the reason I bring this up is anybody that has cattle, anybody that has kids, anybody that has anything on the Martinez Creek, which again goes through our city, don't forget about Woman Holler Creek, which now Green Valley, in the lawsuit we entered, which we dropped, now has a sewage treatment plant. They're dumping new sewage, treated sewage, into the Woman Holler, which meets the Martinez right behind the former mayor's house. So you've got all of those. And the reason I bring up the kids and the playing and all that is because when we had the town hall meeting in Lubianski's about 3 years ago, all the residents from the properties surrounding Woman Holler Creek were there. And they were concerned. So if you got cattle, if you got livestock, if you've got kids, if you know somebody's fishing, go to this website, and there's 35 testing points, and 2 of them are in St. Hedwig. What I would do is focus. I'm not going to tell you what's in the water. I'm going to tell you, you better look at it. That's all I'm going to say, because I'm not going down that road. But go to that testing period or point on North Gable, and they will give you all the information you need as to what's in the water, what's harmful, what's not, what's high, what's low from a few years ago. And you can start plotting it and seeing how the things, whether they're good or bad, are increasing or decreasing in there. And it's really important. It made me appreciate what we've done in St. Hedwig with our subdivision ordinance. I know there's a lot of people that don't think we need subdivisions in St. Hedwig. By Texas law, I'm going to remind everybody, we have to have subdivision ordinance. Thank goodness this city was smart enough in the 90s to put a 55-page document together. The genius thing about that subdivision ordinance is it's 2.5 or bigger lots in the subdivision. When we do that, we can have our own lateral systems. You don't need to treat sewage. You have septic tanks and lateral lines. And and I bring this up again because in the future, if St. Hedwig ever decides to go with a different subdivision ordinance, you're gonna have treatment plants. And that treated water is gonna have to find a tributary, which in all likelihood will either be the Cibolo or the Martinez. So kudos to the city for putting that and hopefully keeping that subdivision ordinance in place as it is as far as the size of the lots. Because that allows Bear County to come in certified and it's all good. And I'll end it by saying, if you haven't driven down toward Floresville lately and you hadn't read Wilson County News, like I tell everybody you should every week, front to back, Kycaster Creek's having a big issue right now. You see the signs on 181. They have a new subdivision that Wilson County allowed that's going to try to take that treated water and put it in Kycaster Creek, which is a dry creek, just like Womanata was, and float it 5 miles down the San Antonio River. And so if you don't think this is going to happen or it's right around the corner, it's right around the corner. So this watershed deal was a really good educational 3-hour, 4-hour course to go to. And the main thing I wanted everybody to know is that you can go online and check that testing point and just make sure if you know anybody that lives in that Martinez Creek area, check it out. Do yourself a favor and make sure it's where it needs to be.
Would there be any objection from the council if we posted this on the website, the PDF and the link to the Cibolo Tavern?
And this map, Wilson County put out a colored map. It's a beautiful map. But,
Yeah, so if we put that on there and also on the Facebook page. Yeah.
When this, Cibolo Creek Municipal Authority put a new treatment plant just north of 10 up against Cibolo Creek 2 years ago, 3 years ago, getting operational now that with all the houses going in on 15, 18, they're piping it all over.
yeah,
there.
that's part of this. That's part of this map. But just make sure if you put the map on the website, make sure that because it's got St. Hedwig right there, and that way they know everybody that lives in St. Hedwig's part of it. And they're probably going to have these meetings. They took a poll, and hopefully they're going to do it once a year. But I'll try to. Again, Wilson County News does a great job of informing. They have a nice article, and that's the only reason I knew it existed. So I went, and I'm glad I did. So just good information.
And that's one of my efforts to, starting my term is, especially things like this, is getting the information out to the public more than we can. And we're doing a great job as it is, but that's a really important thing.
Yeah.
And the public should be able to hear my word of mouth to go to this website.
And what you hope is instead of going down river, so to speak, you go up river, because you know who's approving all these subdivisions? Your county commissioner. He has a unilateral power to say no to all these subdivisions that's in our ETJ and is in an unincorporated area, and he does not say no. And so every extra house that goes up, that's more treated water going down our waterways. So hopefully
That's
that's
on my agenda too. Okay, any discussion on Cibolo?
And a lot of that going on is just gonna increase around
The whole area is exposure, all Bear County and beyond.
you look at that 3-story apartment complex that's going in what, Schumer?
Yeah, sure, 604.
Yeah. That's a lot of that's a lot of people coming in a very small area.
And that's going right to the treatment station on Greytown Road, west of the city. If there's any way, next time you talk to Tech Dot to try to get them to put a sign where Solid Trio is, so, number one, that the one creek doesn't have a sign, so everybody thinks it just kind of separates and comes back together. Well, that'd be great if they could put a Solid Trio Creek sign where that other creek is, that way it helps the folks if they go to this website, know where.
Coming together right
Yeah,
at that
yeah.
point.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor.
Yep, no, thank you. So budget, it's budget time. Needed to determine the date for the budget workshop for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2026, and ending September 30th, 2027. Last year, we did the workshop before the meeting started. I think we started like an hour before. I don't know if anybody has any plans for capital costs that we want to be putting in there.
For the next meeting,
For the next meeting.
only thing I would think is if they get, we were supposed to have a meeting, public hearing before this one, and it got canceled because of lack of it, so that would be the only thing I would think of that would get in your way.
Right.
It doesn't matter to me.
We could have a separate meeting too, so the year before, we did it on a separate date too.
I think with the road project, depending on how quick Jess does his work, and then with the information that's important to our marshal on the lease versus owned, it may not be a bad idea to just have a quick little workshop. Separate,
Yep.
but that's your call.
Then we have two options for the workshop. We could do it like kind of normal hours, like 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, whatever. Or we could do it on a Saturday for a workshop, we get lunch in and work that way. It's up to you guys. Just throwing options out there.
Usually we do them at 6 p.m. on a weekday. I can tell you it's summertime, I'll be traveling almost every weekend, but that's just me.
It's not football season.
Yeah, but it's lake season,
Yes.
but it's up to y'all. It's not gonna take more than an hour. Usually we do them at 6.
I don't foresee a huge amount of things.
I would just prefer to do it before the meeting, whatever day we have the meeting.
So if we have a public hearing, just have it before the public hearing?
Yeah, I mean, that might put strain on you getting here and
So
taking off
we're
for.
moving up to 5.
Well, I mean, the public hearings are always at 6:30, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, if we can't get it done in 30 minutes, and just have another workshop, but,
We haven't had a public hearing for over 30 minutes.
no, I mean, but you gotta have a precise starting time for the
Right,
public hearing
exactly,
to make it
exactly.
fair to everybody.
Yeah.
So you'd have to have this before the public hearing.
Right.
And, I would say 6 to 6:30, or 5:30.
So just move it to-
And if we don't have a public hearing, depending on duty calls, have it at 6:30.
And if the workshop goes longer, we can always schedule another continuation of that workshop.
I think we have a lot of our budget worked out as far as the day-to-day operations. A few things that probably need to be looked at again is how much our tree trimming costs are as far as for the city and some mowing. I mean, the rains this spring now, we actually got rain getting in and mowing, but, some folks don't mow their places, which that's their prerogative. But I think we should be mowing at least a few times a year.
It's a good point on the tree trimming. We've gone through a lot of manual tree trimming, which I know we gotta be touching that top of that budget line item. So, yeah, that's a great point. I'd love to see where we're at year to date versus the automated version now that we've got it. Because we are way behind on tree trimming.
I think those two things, I mean, from what we do here in the city and stuff, I know some people don't think tree mowing is a big deal, but when people are driving in and out of the city and you have overgrown weeds all over the place, and you mow it down, it changes the appearance of the city, the roads, just, I mean, it was that way for me when I tried to get in and hit 10 as early as possible, 410 and those, because once that stuff takes off, it's hard to catch up. So, if we could figure a budget or see what we're actually spending for a cycle.
One you got, it should be all we got.
So far this year, for the manual tree trimming, we've spent $10,000. For the flail head work that was done, just the labor was $6,090. But because we had so many issues with that piece of machinery, we have repairs and fuel for the flail head resulting in $6,535.
So 12,
What?
total of 12 versus 8.
No, we've spent 10 so far on the manual tree trimming.
I mean, that's why you have the workshops, because you have to quantify that.
Yeah.
You have to say, okay, the automated, because of the breakdowns, that's just one of those lemon deals that we have because we bought it during the pandemic, and then the folks who sold it to us don't want to have anything to do with it anymore. And the manufacturer who's in Seguin doesn't want to have anything to do with it anymore. So you got to break it down.
Yeah, so I think there's a few operational costs I think we gotta look at. Might be a few capital cost projects that everybody wants to do. Do we think an hour is gonna be, if it does go over an hour, we could always have a continuation on another day.
Hours, plenty. So
What
if
day?
we have
Before the meeting.
duty calls, then we gotta go 5:30 to 6:30.
Yes.
And if we don't have the public hearing for duty calls, we gotta go 6 to 7.
Correct.
So we're not gonna know that right this minute. Can they make a motion that is stated like that to then where we can, once we know if duty calls is gonna have a public hearing, then we know that we've already got permission to set it at 5:30 or
Just need to post a 72-hour agenda.
Yeah, that's fine. I think the only thing they'll have to do is just make sure to have that set time to start, and everything's just,
All in line.
right.
Yeah,
So-
the key thing is 72 hours.
I
Yeah.
think it's 5 days now.
Well, now, it's 3 business days of
72.
the date before the meeting, so actually now it takes.
Oh, you can't
4
put the
days.
weekends.
Yeah, yeah.
So Friday,
Yeah,
Monday, Tuesday.
we'll push it up back there. That leads into another question that usually happens at the end of the meeting, when are we gonna have our next meeting?
Last second.
So,
I won't be here.
that's why I said it.
No, that's not what I said.
Good, go for it. It's 250th birthday.
I know.
No offense, but I got one for it.
July 9th is the following Thursday.
Yeah, so the second, because most people are off on the third, so they'll probably be leaving early for all their trips on the second. So the second's kind of a bad day. But the ninth.
Sure you don't want to have it on Saturday?
I'm good with
Your workshop in public hearing?
Might be a big meeting. It would be.
That's what I'm thinking.
Go for it. I don't need to be here.
So the ninth, okay? Sorry, so the ninth and then optional 5:30 or 6:30. Or, yeah, 5:30 to 6. For the workshop. Then we have a public hearing and then go home with the answer.
Okay.
All right, so we determine next meeting, announcements, any announcements? Happy
250th
Father's Day
birthday.
for the next meeting, it will be, yeah.
Will we put something big on the screen? Our 250th birthday?
You would like something on there?
I would if we can.
Mm-hmm. I can
Something to
absolutely do
celebrate.
that.
It's starting early, fireworks are for sale.
And did
On-
we agree also on the other things?
Yes, we're gonna be giving out Freedom Pops. So popsicles to anybody that comes up here on July 2nd during normal business hours while supplies last.
Another reason to have your meeting.
I mean, Kate.
And Brian. Partner.
Yeah.
All right, so we have the date and the announcements, and Father's Day is next year. So happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there. Next, we're going to be adjourning to executive session. We'll be discussing consultation with the attorney regarding the memorandum of understanding right-of-way agreement with Howard Energy, and closed session pursuant Texas Government Code 551.074, personal matters, and consultation attorneys to hear charge of complaining against Deputy Marshal. So we'll recess 5 minutes and meet in the city manager's office.